I've been monitoring the Occupy movement for a while. Been out here a few times, been on a few of the marches. And one of the things I'm observing is that the success of any movement hinges largely on the public consent. Right now, we're a tiny fraction of public dissent. And so a lot of things happen to us while we're out there spreading our message of unity and of change and of real democracy. A lot of opposition from the powers that be. And one of the things I'm noticing is that the general public is apathetic. Granted, there's scattered support there, but a lot of the injustices that happen to those who try to spread a message of truth are, a lot of it's just shut down. You know, there's people getting pepper sprayed, you know, all these sorts of things. Occupy movements are getting shut down. I think this morning San Francisco got shut down or something like that. I'm out there and I'm interacting with the people who are a little indifferent, and they're like, well, it serves them right. The occupiers are inconveniences, and what do they have to do with me, blah, 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 blah. And one of the things that I do, and some of the people I collaborate with in New York have been creating propaganda. Propaganda in the forms of flyers and posters, teams of people that are on these news forums that are spreading our message, and kind of like a counter media, a counter education. It has to happen. We go out there, we do our thing, we feel good, we stood up for right, yay for us. What was the end result? What was the ultimate result? Is the macro agenda being served? And so I think that there needs to be something going on here a little bit more than our individual accomplishments. What have we done long term? And some of the things I suggest is that, you know, I'm out there, I'm on the metro, I'm looking at, you know, stuff on the metro bus stands, I'm looking at Hugo Boss, buy this, the world's going to end in 2 weeks, everything except the truth. And I think that we have an obligation to educate as much as we do protest. And I think that the two can't be separated. So to that end, I'd like to see it. I think that we need to see more active public education. Here's why we're relevant. Here's why what we're saying is going to affect you, person driving by in your car, in your Lexus. Everything's fine now, and so it seems, because you're being told that by the media. Plays in the park. I'm sure there are people with some rudiment of acting ability among us. Sorry, thank you. And I think that maybe we should start educating the public through things that they enjoy, like public theater in the park. So, all right.
Who else was on staff?
Yeah.
In my transit, I carry this sign that says, "You are invited to Occupy." Some guy came up to me and said, "Occupy," the other day. And my brother chased him down and we started talking to him. And within like 30 seconds, he was apologizing, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you guys are so cool. It's so much better than what I saw in the media. You know, like, wow, you're so nice. It's about love and all these things. Like, oh, I thought you were just about breaking things." It's like, we want to break some things, but, you know. So I just really want to encourage you to, like, come out in whatever way makes sense to you. Like, come out. Like, so get involved, facilitate, get out there and show your love for the movement.
What's your name?
I'm Isaac.
Isaac, my name's Brian.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Yeah, very good to meet you. Thank you for what you're doing here. So do you want to ask me questions, or how do you want to start this?
Yeah, we'll just start with you. And so, obviously, the movement started on September 17th because of a call to action by Adbusters for the Culture Jammers, and then Anonymous and other groups came on board. What was your experience becoming aware of Occupy? What was the impetus for you to actually get involved?
Okay. I will say I think Anonymous's involvement is was actually sort of mythical, but so they actually had very little. I don't think they had anything to do with it. I think that was a misunderstanding. I thought that at first too, but that was not the case.
Okay.
I myself was actually at the tar sands, the protest against the Keystone Pipeline, which was going to be very bad for several of our neighbors in Nebraska and other places. It was going to destroy people's land and do all these things. So I was at that protest, and there were a lot of people talking about these guys who were going to go pitch tents at the New York Stock Exchange. And I thought that was such a wonderful idea because the banks have just absolutely robbed us. The banks have destroyed our economy, got bailed out, and we're all paying the consequences, the people. And now we have a political environment where the big donors have more control over the political process than the people do, and that's absolutely heartbreaking. I really love this country, you know, and I want to see it stay true to its spirit and to its ideals and really be as democratic as it can be, the way our founding fathers intended. And what's going on today is precisely what our founding fathers warned us about, the control of government by moneyed interests. And so I knew that I should get involved right away. I was doing some other things for a couple months. I had a job to do, and that was helpful as well because I was able to get a little bit of money together, for a while. Enough money to last me through the winter, but so I came down here as soon as that job was over.
And why did you come here as opposed to going to New York or to any other smaller or larger place?
Washington, D.C. is the power center of our nation, right here on K Street. This is where lobbyists for big corporations, lobbyists for all the people who want to control the government in lieu of the American people controlling the government. They govern our country from the five-star diners right here on K Street. So this is the place to be.
So when did you actually come down here and be part of the camp?
Oh, just about 2.5 weeks ago. I haven't been here too long.
Okay. And why do you think it is that after all of the concerted effort by Homeland Security to have the mayors, have the police departments take down the Occupy camps, why is it that you think D.C. has not been instructed to be taken down?
Washington, D.C. has a long, rich tradition of people coming out and expressing their passionate feelings about what's best for our country. That being the case, protests are just, part of daily life here. And I think Washington, D.C., it's such an ingrained part of the culture that we're more welcome than some other places.
And another thing that's become part of this movement is the attempted co-option by a number of different groups. Have you experienced much of that down here?
Well, groups that think they're going to be able to co-opt this thing are sorely mistaken. The nature of the process here is that everybody here has to vote to agree on something before it gets passed, before it is officially agreed to by the occupation as a body. Everybody sees a megaphone and, I can push my own agenda, whether it's the unions or anybody else. But this is a wonderfully independent body, and it's just the nature of the process that it's going to remain so. And it's so I'm aware of groups that maybe want to utilize the Occupy for their own interests, but they're not going to get very far.
Word. So you said you have enough money to last you through the winter here, and
I live Spartan.
Right on. So what are you going to do after the winter time? If you have enough money collected at that point, will you stay longer? Do you have plans to move on afterward?
Well, I'm going to do whatever is most effective for helping my country. If that means staying here, I'll stay here. I will, of course, have to find work around D.C., make some money, but I do love to work, and I love to work hard, so work's hard to come by, but when you're able to live on as little as I do, but completely independently, I eat beans and grains, things that cost $1 or $2 a pound. $40 or $50 gets me a month of food, which is, one of my few expenses. So I will be able to find the temp work that I need in D.C., doing good, honest labor, to stay here for as long as I need to. I will stay with the occupation as long as that seems to be the best thing that I can do.
Right on.
For my country and my world.
What's been your experience with the police down here?
Oh boy, the police in Washington, D.C. have such respect for protest and such respect for Americans coming out to do what they feel is right for their country. That they have just been absolutely accommodating, have not had one single problem.
Right on.
And actually, I've had some really good conversations with them. I think we've mutually enjoyed it.
Do you think you had a chance to actually connect with any of those police officers you had conversations with?
I would say so.
So you were just guys being real, people being real.
Absolutely. No enmity.
All right.
No division. Human beings. They are very much a part of the 99%. And boy, the police are facing some tough struggles right now. From just actually receiving the overtime pay that they are owed is actually a challenge for police officers sometimes. And that is unfortunate. That should not be the case. There's a big push to abolish public unions in many places. And this is terrible. So the police officers need a government responsive to its duties to the people just like we do. We're all very much on the same page.
Yeah.
We are all the 99%. And the police seem to know this.